Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video, car style. Because yes guys, I'm recording this from my car right now, and I am proud to say that, alright? I am very freaking proud. Not sure if I'm going to put timestamps down below today. I'll try it, but I'm not sure. Enjoy the crypto news though. You can see all the topics up here. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so stick around and enjoy. Want to quickly summarize what we discovered and discussed yesterday, which is the XRP settlement scenario. I noticed quite a lot of people were confused that I talked about settlement when, in reality, when I had the interview with Jeremy Hogan, we concluded that his settlement was really only in the background, not a first type of option. They wouldn't settle, blah, blah, blah. When I woke up this morning, I saw a Twitter highlight. I just basically got a notification from Twitter saying, XRP has settled with the SEC. I was, what? Apparently, that's just a random account over on Twitter that got a lot of likes, and so Twitter thought it would be nice to show me. But the point being, they will only settle if both sides come out of it on top, which we cannot know up front. It could, for example, be that right now they're already negotiating for a settlement. It really could be. Now, are the facts looking towards it? No. But it could happen because they're not going to show you these hints on the front line unless they get specific lawyers that are negotiation experts, which can happen, but that's most likely a little bit more towards the end because these guys also know if they get those lawyers in, people will investigate that because of the huge public interest, and it will become major news, which, again, you don't really want just quite yet. Now, the XP lawsuit, SEC may lose credibility as just personal opinion argument becomes invalid. This is actually the most interesting thing of the last couple of days by far regarding the lawsuit, and that is this questionable point that the SEC is not acting upon their own rules. They're acting upon opinions from SEC members like William Hinman. And one of the key critical questions that's going to be answered on the 28th is whether or not the SEC gave advice after giving the William Hinman speech and whether they regarded it as their own legal system or, I guess, own clarity. So the William Hinman speech, right? Let's actually come back to that one. That was a speech mostly for Ethereum, but mostly for ICOs as well, just those two things. And the SEC said it's just a personal opinion, and we are saying it was to give clarity to the markets. They say no, because William Hinman just gave his own opinion, yet there's freaking 60 back and forward emails to make sure that William Hinman was not saying anything quote-unquote wrong, and he got permission from the SEC to say so. And whenever I think about that, it's like, well, if a key commissioner, which the judge agreed upon, he's a high-ranking official in the SEC, gives out an opinion regarding SEC business, you can't really set aside the SEC opinion from his own. Because if he's talking like that to the world, well, then people think that that's the rules and people think that's the way things go. The same thing for example, if Biden right now gives out his own personal opinion about these political views, thinking what he says is allowed or saying what he thinks is allowed and what isn't allowed, it's pretty strange, right? Because you would think he, as the president of the United States, he can't just say stuff like that without it having any meaning because people will take it as if it has meaning. So, again, that's just my own personal thought process behind it. I don't think he can really just give out his opinion blatantly without it having any meaning, because why the heck would he give his opinion then? If he is a person who is very knowledgeable in that area, but his opinion means absolutely nothing because the rules, he doesn't follow any rules, it's just a random opinion, then what is it for? And Ripple is right now really hammering on that too, trying to kind of crack that down a little bit. And I think the judge is vibing with it though. I think she also agrees it's pretty damn strange. Now, former U.S. Treasury Secretary says regulation would safeguard the crypto sector. And when you have a large financial sum in secret, you have risks of money laundering, risks of supporting criminal activity, risk of innocent people being ripped off. I think the crypto community needs to recognize that and needs to work cooperatively with governments. And if they do that, I think that this innovation can be one of the important innovations of this period, one of the most actually. Now, my own personal opinion on this matter is yes, this is completely true. Regulations are needed, not necessarily for the purposes which he states, but mostly for the purpose that innovation is not halted if the regulations are in properly. Some people say that crypto shouldn't be regulated because of the free market, the actual free market. I'm going to say I disagree. I think it should be, but then again, it should be done within margin. It should be done where many people get the benefits instead of many people get the negative sides, which mostly revolves around just getting rules where we can work with and not just being completely outlaw like in China, for example, where you can't really work with it anymore. And so baseline is regulations are good as long as it stimulates the economy to do better or the market to do better rather than it just stagnating it. Then Cardano partners with Fortune 250 company Dish Network. Yeah, so Cardano is launching a dishwasher. Cardano has announced that it's partnering with a Fortune 250 company, Dish Network, a TV and wireless service provider. The announcement was made by Chris Ergen, the head of innovation at Dish, and he basically made the announcement at the Cardano Summit, which is going on right now. He stated, "I'm excited to announce that Dish and IOHK, or Input Output Global, I believe, are entering into a strategic collaboration to build blockchain services and to make blockchain a core part of our network and consumer strategy." Hoskinson stated that the partnership will help integrate Dish's telecom business into the Cardano blockchain so as to help provide digital identity services to Dish customers. He further stated, ultimately, the collab is going to be both innovative, safe, and suitable for the customer and regulators of this industry. Now, we already got that just now. Breaking. London college student robbed for $93,000 worth of Bitcoin. Again, just some fun it's not really fun, actually. Just some interesting crypto news. A recent report said that a student from University of Kent was, taken away for $93,000 worth of Bitcoin in his own campus. The student just started a year as a freshman when eight thugs stormed his dorm room and demanded his crypto credentials. According to reports, after this horrifying incident, the student immediately left the campus and moved back home. Morale of the story being, be very careful whom you tell you got crypto. A lot of people ask, why don't you show your face? And for a good part, it's just because I don't really want attention. A very small part of it is also because you're becoming a target for no real good reason, right? Even though I think, if they want my key, what can I do? I cannot give a key. The key is locked up somewhere very far away. What can I do? If they come up to me and say, give me your stuff, I'm like, what can I give? I have nothing. So from that perspective, nah. It's not really that. But the more stories like this you read, and I read a lot of them, it just shows me kind of a lesson for a lot of you guys, which is don't flaunt your wealth. Don't tell people how much money you got, how much crypto you got. Hey, look at how much crypto. Because some people like it, but a lot of people go talk and talk more and talk more, and eventually you might become the target. Jim Cramer to crypto investors, I'm begging you to sell. Now, this is again a very interesting thing. But it mostly revolves around Tether right now and the investigation around it, even though I don't know if Jim Cramer actually knows the ins and outs. He lists, for example, Evergrande over in China as a concern, and that has basically adversely affected the crypto market with rumored ties of Tether to the Chinese property developer. How that worked, by the way, for all of you that are unaware, Evergrande, largest real estate basically provider, sort of, in China, the long short story of it. They have these notes. I don't know what the official name for it is anymore. Basically, there's papers sort of a loan, basically, sort of like that. And Tether has their money backed by a lot of these actual papers, which is sort of like money. Now, it was basically alleged that because this Evergrande is the largest paper issuer in the world, that Tether, since they are one of the biggest buyers of papers in this world, got a lot of those Evergrande papers, basically. They're saying, no, we've never been involved with them, but that's basically a back and forth right now that's going on where, again, we don't know, commercial paper, there we go, that's the official name for it. Well, we don't really know whether or not it's the truth, and it could be really bad. Even though the Chinese government bailed Evergrande out, people are still kind of hesitant because right now, for example, Tether is also being investigated by the US SEC and the company behind Tether. And so, of course, people get scared and that might ruin the market a little bit. Then again, he's basically saying this up front by saying, hey, investigations are going to come. If Tether might collapse because of all of this, the entire crypto system will collapse for a little bit. And he is right on that regard. If Tether collapses, crypto collapses for a little bit, but it'll survive. It really will. You have USDC, for example, which can just pick up the throne. You have BUSD. You have a lot of these stable coins which will survive and pick this pace back up. It just takes a little bit of time. ETH locked in DeFi. By the way, guys, it's freaking hot in this car, man. Then again, if I'm outside, it's kind of awkward. Can you hear the birds chirping? And some cars moving around? Let's close the door back up. ETH locked in DeFi on historic highs. Details. The number of Ether utilized in various decentralized finance protocols spiked over 7.3 million. Just a little fun number. Don't do too much with this. It's just nice to see, nice to hear. Cardano climbs 10% as investors gain confidence. Something we've covered a couple of times. Cardano's just acting like a beast, and the price just kind of keeps going up because of it. Because, well, Cardano on its own is just pretty damn solid. And then we already covered this article at the start. Ripple will only settle if they can come out on top because of all of it. And I do think eventually they'll come out on top, guys. Now, again, to kind of put some emphasis at the end of the video here, the most important part for today, very, very much so, is that Ripple is going heavy on the fact that the SEC doesn't have much credibility, that the public, like Brad Garlinghouse said in his most recent interview, that the public even wants to intervene because the SEC isn't doing their job. And we're just hammering on that fact. Then again, Cardano is developing quite nicely. Huge ecosystem expansion, just huge announced partnerships and whatnot, doing really, really properly in that regard. And Ethereum is also moving away. Then again, Jim Cramer, who is very well known, we'll sleep soon, everywhere he says to sell on crypto, but we don't really listen. So ultimately, guys, I think it'll all be fine. It's the way it goes, right? Thank you guys all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video later today.